Oh boy, guys! Today we got a funny little video about the ALMAOs that are coming out apparently, according to the U.S. government, where apparently all sorts of shit is being talked about. There was like an actual hearing, and apparently UFOs. I think they're called something different now. It's like unidentified aerial phenomena, so UAPs, I believe, is the proper term. It was also unidentified submerged phenomenon, which is USPs, I believe. But I think that's what they're called. I'm not exactly positive as to all the terminology around this. But there's been some wild shit going on, hearing-wise, regarding the funny extraterrestrial invaders. For those of you who've been living under a rock, you probably haven't seen this, but everybody else who actually goes outside or watches the news, I'm so sorry for you, by the way. I fucking hate watching the news. You probably heard of the fact that we have kind of a high-ranking intelligence officer, 14 years in the force, talking about how apparently the U.S. has a alien spacecraft in its control, or at least parts of them. Also, according to the dude, at some point people were harmed while interacting with the aliens or whatever, which is also kind of fucking just wild. The guy also mentioned that the government is like been trying really hard to cover this up, which once again is very odd because as far as I understand, what he's been allowed to say here is allowed by the government, like they signed off on this, so it's just very, very strange. But, like, one of the things he just says, yeah, people have been murdered to cover this up, which is crazy.
Actually, do you have any personal knowledge of people who have been harmed or injured in efforts to cover up or conceal these extraterrestrial technology?
Yes. Personally.
Have anyone been murdered that you would think, that you know of or have heard of, I guess?
I have to be careful asking that question. I directed people with that knowledge to the appropriate authorities.
Maybe in a, if we could get in a confidential area of SCIF, we could talk about that. But unfortunately, we were denied access to the SCIF, and that's very unfortunate in this scenario. Mr. Favor.
Now, I'm going to be real with you. I'm personally, my thoughts on aliens, like, yeah, no shit, they exist. If the universe is literally ever expanding and essentially infinite, then yeah, it'd be just infinite fucking possibilities for alien life to exist. No shit, it's going to exist probably somewhere. Is it gonna look like the hot-ass aliens from, like, fucking, Mass Effect? Then you're gonna be able to fuck them? I don't think so. I think they're probably gonna look like some weird fucking flesh amalgamation. Or maybe, like, insects or something. But regardless, most people probably aren't gonna want to fuck the aliens. And that's also assuming we don't have a War of the Worlds type situation where the aliens show up and then basically contract 38 versions of fucking pneumonia and just die. So I'm not, like, a disbeliever necessarily, but I am kind of a skeptic when it comes to UFO sightings and all that sort of shit. I love reading about them. I think it's a really fucking fun, creative exercise to, you know, go through these stories and compare them and be like, oh, these details don't match up, but these ones do. And obviously, like, my family was military, so I have, you know, family members who were involved in the military during the time of certain events, let's just say. So, you know, I myself, I'm not exactly against the idea, right? Now, why some, you know, species that's able to travel millions and millions and millions, billions, trillions, quadrillion light years, you know, would be able to fucking land on Earth and then, like, crash or something. Like, a lot of people think that sounds far-fetched. I say, why not? Listen, we've been at the bottom of the ocean for fucking years, and we just had Ocean Gate happen, so I say I could definitely see it happening, no matter how advanced the species or whatever is. That being said, it's certainly interesting to hear about. Again, this entire conference was all under oath. Now, unfortunately, there weren't any, like, videos or, like, you know, images provided, obviously, but apparently the guy said he was willing to reveal them behind closed doors in a SCIF. Which, for those of you who are unaware, like, a private SCIF is essentially just a private hearing, I believe. I don't know too much because I'm not super into politics, but I from what I understand, that is the term. Essentially, it's like, yeah, I can show you it, but I can't actually show you it publicly. So, like, obviously, there were some highlights. One highlight I can recall is during the hearing, the guy was asked, are our weapons capable of defending us against these extraterrestrial invaders, or whatever the fuck we want to call them? And his answer was basically no. Which, honestly, like, if that's actually, again, let's go with the hypothetical if this is all real and this isn't some big government psyop, which it really could just be a big government psyop trying to distract us from something. I don't know what, but something. But let's pretend it's, like, real, and let's go with it, because I would love for aliens to be, like, here. Not murdering us, preferably. But his answer is a little bit scary for any of you guys who actually believe in this stuff. His answer, was a fuck no, basically. Which, I hope you guys are wearing your brown pants if you're listening to that and actually think that this is a real thing. Because, not exactly a great thing to hear. Which, I mean, once again, is what we expected. I'm assuming that if aliens were, like, a thing, we would have to use some sort of fucking biological warfare against them. Which is, just as likely to accidentally murder us as it is likely to murder them. So, that's always fucking lovely. But yeah, no, there was also this one thing he said where he was like, oh yeah, by the way, we have dead aliens, essentially. Like, we have the corpses, biological matter.
If you believe we have crashed craft, stated earlier, do we have the bodies of the pilots who piloted this craft?
As I've stated publicly already in my News Nation interview, biologics came with some of these recoveries, yeah.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
Non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to that are currently still on the program.
And was this documentary evidence, this video, photos, eyewitness? Like, how would that be determined?
The specific documentation I would have to talk to.
And of course, once again, no physical proof of this, but this is all under oath or whatever. And if he lied, this guy just ruined his entire life, so, one hell of a prank, I guess, if that's the fucking case. But again, this was signed off by our government, so it is a little strange already. I've seen a lot of, things kind of passing around, like people asking, well, why are we just talking about this now? We're not just talking about this now. This has been talked about in the past. People have come forward with stories about this kind of shit before. Like, this isn't a new thing. It's just new for somebody of such a high rank to literally have a genuine hearing discussing the potential dangers of these sorts of things. We went from a fucking super pandemic to now apparently A-Lamau is just fucking... They're just here now. We just have them in facilities somewhere. But all that being said, the reality of the situation is, yeah, this is out in the open now. Now, there are some fishy things about this right off the bat. As soon as the government is like, yes, you can talk about something, that immediately makes me be like, little bit doubtful. Gotta be honest with you, a little bit fucking weird. As soon as the government is like, yes, please talk about it, that should immediately make people just a little bit skeptical. But that's just me personally. Another thing I don't understand about this is why he's being called a whistleblower when once again, like, the government's written off on this. I don't know if this is like some sort of distraction for something else that's going on, or if it's going to be used as an excuse to, like, increase the defense budget for some reason. Again, I'm not a political channel. I don't really give a shit. But as soon as the government is, like, super open about something, especially something like aliens, it does kind of, like, raise an eyebrow as someone who is skeptical to these claims. Once again, I would love for the fucking alien owls to be here on Earth, okay? I'd love to be able to let people clap them alien cheeks, as the lovely people who raided Area 51 said. But I don't really know if I believe this, especially not with, like, without physical proof. But it is interesting. What a fucking wild time to be alive.
Round and round it spins, working with the darkest